What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman. I want to firstly say happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate, wherever you are. I hope you're having a good time, staying safe, and whatever you're doing between now and the beginning of the new year, however you're celebrating, from my family to yours, I hope you have a wonderful time and a happy new year. Now, in lieu of not getting a Spider-Man 3 trailer, we've got the second best thing, a scoop from famous Spider-Man scoopster Mikey Sutton on what's to come in the future trilogy for Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Peter Parker in the MCU. That's right, Spider-Man's 4 through 6, what villains may come and what the trilogy might look like as far as taking a much darker tone for both the villains and our hero Peter Parker. We're going to break down the entirety of this brand new scoop, issue the normal spoiler warning, contextualize it where we can, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We're still giving away this insane 1/4 scale beta ray bill, as well as this third and final Infinity Saga box set on New Year's Eve at the end of this week. We've also added a PlayStation 5 at 800,000 subscribers. If you want to be entered to win, all you have to do, hit that subscribe button, then leave a comment down below with who your favorite Spider-Man is, and if you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. So first up, the normal spoiler warning. Today's scoop comes to us from famous Spider-Man scooper, industry insider, and friend of the channel, Mikey Sutton, who in the past has been dead on with his Spider-Man scoops. He was the guy who leaked that Spider-Man was going to show up in Civil War, also the guy who first was on the scene reporting about a live-action Spider-Verse between Sony and Disney's MCU as soon as they were finished signing that agreement last year. Basically, the spoiler warning, take anything that doesn't come from Marvel Studios with a grain of salt. Even Mikey would be the first to tell you that, but because of how right he's been in the past and the way these things go, if this is in any way going to ruin the future of the MCU as it pertains to Spider-Man for you, well then you might want to back out now. Now, on the flip side of that, Mikey Sutton also happens to write his scoops in prose, and I am not one to rewrite beautiful writing, so I will be reading this from his point of view. When I say the words I really mean, well, Mikey Sutton. Even though I'm Michael Roman, we're not the same person, but I figure you guys get it. And from there, let's jump right into the scoop. Quote, as the second Spider-Man trilogy will focus on Peter Parker's college years, he will experience more tragedy and powerful, darker villains, according to insiders. Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige is able to accomplish with Spider-Man franchise what has never been done before in theatrical franchises. See a superhero played by the same actor grow up from being a wide-eyed teenager to a responsible adult. The Spider-Man movies that Marvel Studios have produced aren't about the web-slinger at all. At heart, they're nucleus, they're about Peter Parker. That attitude has enabled them to avoid the access of latter Sony Spider-Verse movies, which gradually lost focus after creative heights in the second Sam Raimi installment, which, for the record, I totally agree with. Obviously, no scripts have been written yet. The following could, however, contain major spoilers if they decide to solidify them. Please keep in mind that I was the first person to scoop the live-action Spider-Verse back in 2019, covered here on Everything Always, and it was at nearly the same stage. Discussions, talks can lead to actions, and I can absolutely verify that. I will actually link that video at the end of this. Mikey Sutton scooped the live-action Spider-Verse literally at the end of last year, a full year before we ever got confirmation we were going to see Tobey, Maguire, and Andrew Garfield in the film. He goes on to write, quote, I scooped Ned Leeds becoming Hobgoblin on October 14th of 2020, just a couple of months ago, obviously. At the time, I wasn't aware of what would cause that transformation. I've since been told that among the ideas tossed around is a tweaking of the classic Death of Gwen Stacey storyline from the comics. Now, we'll all remember this failed adaptation in The Amazing Spider-Man #2 from director Mark Webb, and as Mikey writes, it, quote, failed miserably because he ended up removing what would have been the movie's redeeming quality, the engaging romantic chemistry between Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone. It's been revealed to Mikey that Betty Brant will renew her relationship with Leeds only to suffer a similar fate. Not that she'll die the same way, however, her loss will cause Leeds to snap, and that's what will lead, pun totally intended, to him turning against Peter Parker, going from being his man in the chair to one of his arch foes and nemesis, and a villain at that. Now he goes on to expound on the villains even further, quote, the bad guys that Spider-Man will face in college will be on a different power level, matching the maturity of his own abilities, intelligence, and experience. They apparently include not only the Hobgoblin, but Venom, Man-Wolf, and the Kingpin as well. Of these, of course, Venom is inevitable. Tom Hardy's Venom was a blockbuster for hit star Sony, and a battle with Spider-Man is a confrontation millions of fans have anxiously awaited, especially after Raimi's Spider-Man 3 in 2007 didn't exactly fulfill expectations. Sources explain that Venom won't truly be a bad guy when he faces Spider-Man, but a misunderstood anti-hero, as Sony doesn't want him to go off the deep end to protect his own solo franchise. After all, you can't make the star of a Spider-Man spin-off evil. When Venom does raise hell with Peter Parker, though, however, they will collaborate against a mutual foe in Carnage, and we're all suspecting that to be the third installment of that franchise, Maximum Carnage, when and if we get there. He goes on to write, I reported on November 26, 2020 that Spider-Man will team up with Daredevil against Kingpin in this college trilogy. Although best known as Daredevil's archenemy because of Ben Affleck's movie and later Charlie Cox's Netflix program, Kingpin actually debuted in The Amazing Spider-Man number 50 in 1967. The writer then, Frank Miller, who made Kingpin as an integral part of Daredevil's life in his legendary 80s run The Man Without Fear, the Kingpin's dominion of the underworld crime is something not seen in Spider-Man films as of yet. And we did see a little bit of that, just a hint of it at the beginning of Spider-Man 2, right, when it was him versus what could have been going into further, we think, Tombstone's game, right for the picking for Feige, who consistently wants to flip the formula. Apparently, Tombstone could enter the picture as well. Wow, I said that literally as an annotation without reading further into the paragraph. A mutual foe of both Spider-Man and Daredevil. Feige has slyly seeded this already. Tombstone's daughter, Janice Lincoln, appeared in Far From Home, played by Claire Rushbrook. Puzzle pieces, the crumbs leading to Kingpin are already there, and as I mentioned for Tombstone as well, we saw a little bit of Spider-Man against the mob in the beginning of Far From Home. Mikey continues by writing, Man-Wolf is the kind of effects-heavy, visually enthralling bad guy that Marvel Studios sees as an epic villain for Spider-Man, one that Sony hinted at but has never before seen all the way through. Man-Wolf is actually J. Jonah Jameson's son, John Jameson, who appeared briefly in both Spider-Man 2 and Venom. Beyond the surface coolness, his new role as Man-Wolf would create more animosity between his dad and Spider-Man, which is why he's even more appealing to Marvel Studios. After all, the MCU is propelled by its family dynamics, good and bad. After Spider-Man 3 is completed, how the next trio of films will end up clearer in focus, but for now, it's looking like his skies have ominous clouds looming overhead. And guys, this is the entirety of the scoop coming again from Mikey Sutton, who's been there in the past with these scoops way ahead of schedule, now talking about the future of the MCU and how Tom Holland in his college years will have another trilogy facing off against these villains. Guys, let me know all your thoughts and reaction down below to all of this. Of all the villains mentioned, which one would you most like to see, and how hype are you to hear the possibility of another trilogy for Peter Parker in the MCU, specifically Tom Holland's Peter Parker, regardless of what happens with the upcoming Spider-Verse? Guys, let me know all your reactions again down below, and quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. We're still giving away this insane 1/4 scale Beta Ray Bill, as well as our third and final Infinity Saga box set in about a week on New Year's Eve, regardless of the subscriber count. We're also giving away a PlayStation 5 at 800,000 subscribers. If you want to be entered to win any of these prizes or any of the future prizes at the channel, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button, then leave a comment down below, and the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning, because it's truly random. All winners will be announced at the end of the videos the same way we're doing here, and if you've missed them, you can scroll back to the channel, just look for the winner announcement in the sub count in the title. Also, make sure to hit the notification bell with notifications turned on to keep up with the content, and if you enjoyed today's video, as always, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me over on Instagram at IamFires, my original music on Spotify under All Fires, and streaming on Twitch under twitch.tv/Novellin. There are links down in the description to all three. Huge thank you to Mikey Sutton for this exclusive content. You can find all of his scoops, as always, over on Geekosity.com. There is a link down in the description. Guys, thanks for checking out the channel, and stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.